This is the Ricoh GR4, and I've had it for over 7 months now, and it's been through drops, one repair, and also good times. And I wanted to share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly with my Ricoh GR4. So stay tuned for that and more. I'm actually going to start with the ugly. What happened was this camera got dropped several times. Not that the look of it suggests that at all. And after all of that accident and impact, it started seeing everything in green, as you can see in the images on the screen right now. And at that point, I decided to take it back to where I bought the camera, Sammy's Camera in Los Angeles, and they sent it to Ricoh or Precision Camera for warranty repair. My camera got a brand new lens assembly installed and related parts, according to them. I don't know what else they changed, but the lens is definitely new, and my shutter was reset to 0. At this point, I've shot another 2,000 or so with it, and everything seems to be working smoothly. No green screen, no major issue like that. Only issues that I still have with the Ricoh GR4 camera, which will likely still exist if I were to go and grab another one of these brand new. So my one issue is focus. Even though it's actually very good and very accurate most of the time, sometimes it catches onto a wisp of air and I end up getting a picture that is completely out of focus, and there it is. So you go to take a picture, you get the green box for your focus, and things aren't exactly in focus. Otherwise, when it clicks in and when it gets the focus right, it actually works really, really, really well. And beyond that, the other issue I want to talk about is the flash. I actually lost my Ricoh hot shoe cover. I've replaced it with my vintage Minox camera hot shoe cover. But when you do bring the Ricoh GF2 flash into the mix and you add it on top, it's another one of those cases like the focus. When it works great. If I turn the flash on and the flash icon appears, like you saw, we are golden. Get your focus, you get the proper amount of flash, the proper exposure for your scene. But because this thing wobbles and wiggles a little bit, if you happen to knock it slightly out of its place and the flash icon disappears, then all of a sudden you're going to get full power flash on every single photo, and things will likely be overexposed, as you can see. So that's another problem I've been having. It means I have to press the flash in if it's out of alignment and check for the flash icon every time to make sure I get the right exposure with my flash. So that's another issue I've had with this camera. And now let's get to the good, and I'll throw in some bad in the mix of those as well. The good, of course, is that this is an incredibly fast camera. You can turn it off and back on in fractions of a second, get focus, and get your shot reliably most of the time. Again, like I said, sometimes the focus doesn't work, but it works most of the time, and you get a really, really nice image. I like to think of this camera, especially since I came here from 35mm film, and the results I would get from my 35mm film camera, of course, depending on the type of film, black and white or color that I would get, I often would get back on high quality scans, 30 megapixel-ish scans. What I get out of this camera reminds me of those scans. It's a completely digital camera, but the feel of the images that you can get out of it, especially after you customize your own JPEG recipe, look like scans from a high quality 35mm film camera. And that to me is the main attraction of this machine. So compared to cameras like Fujifilm cameras, where you get different dials for your shutter speed and aperture, this gives you that only after you're turning on the camera. So the problem essentially is you can't preset, let's say, a shutter speed before you turn the camera on and then take the shot right then and there after turning the camera on. So when I'm in manual mode, I have to remember what shutter speed and aperture I turn the camera off on so that when I turn it back on, I know where I'm at. Does that make sense? Now, in order to prevent that, I have had one solution, which is a user mode that is in manual and takes me back to the same settings every time. ISO 800, f4, 1/40th of a second. This is my default starting point, which, as you can see in average light, is actually a pretty decent exposure. From here, I can, of course, increase or decrease my ISO. Same thing with the shutter speed, now with the front dial. Aperture with the front dial, shutter speed with the back dial, and work your way from there. So this is one way to create some sort of a expectancy for your starting point when you're shooting manual, is to save your favorite settings or a common setting that you use on user 1, 2, or 3 in manual mode. How to do that, I have it all in my other videos, so please click through the channel and find out about those through those videos. Another thing I like to do is to give myself a speed mode or a fast mode as a custom mode, because if you're walking around, and especially with a camera like this, by the way, I really recommend using the wrist strap that comes in the packaging, and you just put your wrist through it, wrap it once around one of your fingers, and the camera becomes a part of your hand essentially, and you can access all of the features with either your index finger or your thumb. All the buttons are, except for the movie button here, are on one side, so you can pretty much do everything one-handed. The battery I want to talk about. The battery life is all right. It's not amazing or anything to rave about. And this is my second battery that I'm on. I bought another Ricoh DB120 battery because my first one bloated. And this one, look, it's starting to do the same. It looks a tiny bit bloated. Do I use my camera a lot? Yes. Have I used it with just one battery? Yes. But look, this is a brand new, 2,000 shots in battery, and it's already starting to bloat and get fat, which is not a good sign. These things can explode, I read. I don't know if that's really a risk, but Ricoh, please fix these things. I don't know what the deal is. I shouldn't have to buy another battery every 2,000 shots. So maybe I will buy one of those cheaper third-party batteries from Amazon. Maybe those will actually work better. I'm not sure. The last thing I want to talk about is this custom GR digital mode. If you've been a long-time user and fan of this line of cameras, the very first Ricoh GR digital that came out back in 2003 or 5 had a really cool look to the images. Not really desirable in this day and age. Less detail, lots of noise, but I'm trying to replicate it by creating this custom user mode, which brings 4:3 aspect ratio, a relatively fast shutter speed minimum of 250, with a aperture preference for high depth of field. That, by the way, is here in the settings. So if you're in the exposure settings, it's called program line. And you can set your depth of field priority for deep depth of field. And that helps you choose a higher aperture number throughout your program auto photography. And I've also set the image file size to be small, which gives me a roughly 7 to 8 megapixel photo, replicating the vibe and the feel of the old digicams like the Ricoh GR Digital. So I hope this video has been helpful in giving you an idea of what it's like to live with this one of these cameras. Please subscribe and hit like. I will post other videos of other subjects and qualities on this channel. So please stick around and find out what's going to happen next. Thank you and goodbye.